It's 5 o'clock. At this time, I'll call the pre-council meeting for the Perry City Council for Tuesday, April the 21st, 2026 to order. We do have a quorum. Item 3 on our agenda are citizens with input. Are there any citizens here this evening that would like to address mayor and council at this time? Thank you. Item 4, items for review and discussion. Item 4A is a discussion of the April 21st, 2026 council meeting agenda. Council members, I would refer you to that agenda item at this time. Items 1, 2, and 3 are standard items. Anybody would like to do the invocation this evening?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do the pledge.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Item 4 will be citizens with input relative to agenda items. Item 5 are recognitions and presentations. Item 5A is employee service awards. Ms. Birchall?
Yes, sir. We will have some 5-year, 10-year, and 120-year this evening.
Wonderful. Look forward to that. Item 5B are special events. 5B1 is the National Day of Prayer on Thursday, May the 7th, 2026 from 12 to 1. Ms. Hartley?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, this evening there will be a review of the special events application submitted by the Perry Ministerial Association for their annual National Day of Prayer ceremony to be hosted on the City Hall lawn. They are just requesting the use of the lawn. They will be providing their own sound and music amplification systems. There were no feedback or comments from department heads, and Mr. Larry Wood may be at the 6 p.m. meeting should you have any questions.
Okay. Questions, council members? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6 will be review of the minutes. 6A is the minutes from April 6, 2026 work session, April 7th, 2026 pre-council meeting, the April 7th, 2026 regular meeting, and of course our April the 9th, 2026 special call meeting. Any questions around those minutes? We'll present those. Okay. Item 7 is unfinished business. 7A, ordinances for the second reading and adoption. 7A1 is the second reading of an ordinance to rezone property from R-2, single family residential, to RM1, multifamily residential. The property is located at Frank Satterfield Road. Excuse me. Mr. Duffy?
Yes, sir. There is really nothing new to add to this from our previous discussions regarding the rezoning proposal, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Duffy? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So this is simply for rezoning. This is not considering the type of housing that he wants to build as far as finished floor elevation or, FEMA flood maps or anything. This is just a rezoning tonight, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Other questions? Thank you, Mr. Duffy. Item 8 will be any other old unfinished business, and we'll go through that. Item 9 will be new business. 9A will be matters referred from April 20th, 2026 work session, and then this April 21st, 2026 pre-council meeting. Item 9B are resolutions for consideration and adoption. 9B1 is a resolution declaring certain assets surplus. Mr. Worthington.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, we're just asking Council to declare one vehicle and one lawnmower or lawn tractor surplus tonight so that we can sell it via our normal surplus practice.
Okay. Questions, Council? 9B2 is a resolution to condemn property of Tiffany South 2 LLC. Ms. Newby?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, this resolution is The next step for council to authorize exercising eminent domain to condemn 7.44 acres of this 100 and roughly 5-acre tract. It's a parcel that is at the corner of Gurr Road and Kings Chapel Road that is owned by Tiffany South 2 LLC. This is also the developer, Jeff Leszewski. The purpose of the condemnation is for us to be able to acquire the property that's needed to finish the Sadie Heights Stormwater Mitigation Plan with what's referred to by engineering as the Big Dig and construction of the stormwater pond.
Okay. Questions, council? Thank you, Ms. Newby. Item 10 is other business, supplemental agenda item. 10A is the announcement of the final candidate for finance director position. Ms. Birchall?
Yes, sir, we will announce our finalists this evening in the next session.
Okay, thank you. Items 11 through, yes, sir.
Did we skip 9C?
I did, sorry. I went right on into the other business, excuse me. 9C was the development agreement between the City of Perry and the Patriot Group Development Incorporated. Ms. Newby, sorry about that.
That's okay. Yes, sir. So this is the agreement that we went over in detail in last night's work session. It's a proposed development agreement in which the developer, which is Patriot Group Development, Inc., would make the upgrade to one of the city's existing sanitary sewer lines, upgrading the line from a 10-inch to a 12-inch in exchange for 300 reserve units of capacity. I did speak with Mr. McMurrian earlier today to try and follow up on y'all's question about it increasing capacity, and fortunately he's here tonight, but our conversation in that he explained that it's not an increased capacity in the sense of an increased number of units. What it does is it increases the availability or access to other geographic areas that are located along that 12-inch line to access the capacity that we have on the line.
Okay.
Did I get that right?
You did.
Okay.
I can answer any further questions.
Yes, sir.
Is that by increasing the capacity, that's because of the improvement that he's going to make to the line?
Correct. So again, I'll defer to Chad, but my understanding is there's almost like a bottleneck where we have a 10-inch going to a 12-inch pipe, and by increasing that, any other properties that are geographically along that increase in the 12-inch, it opens up their availability or access to where the capacity exists.
Okay.
So it's an extension, for clear words, it's an extension of the 12-inch. The 12-inch stops short of the parcels that need the capacity. The investment is going to be to extend that 12-inch. The 12-inch is the factor that warrants the 600 units. So
How many?
600 units are
600
currently
additional,
available on
yeah.
the 12-inch line.
Right.
The size of the line equates to the capacity. Extending the line just provides more property, the availability to the existing capacity.
So it was kind of hard to follow the maps, but it looked like it's going to take it on down to Valley Drive.
Oh no, that's where the existing 12-inch is at. It comes close to that, but it actually comes down to Airport Road Extension, and that's where it will pick up that 12-inch near 12 Airport Road Extension.
Okay, thanks.
So
Thank you, Ms.
on
Newby.
the current line, there's 600 houses
That's correct.
of our units. whatever.
Units available on the
for-
existing 12-inch.
And this will make them available further north on the line. So he is asking for 300 of those units for the upgrade.
Yes, for his efforts and investment into this public infrastructure.
And just a confirmation, Ms. Newby, we will not be refunding him the money for the upgrade of the line.
That's correct. So this revised agreement before you provides that they expend all of the costs and construct the upgrade to the line just in exchange for the reserve capacity. That capacity is limited to a period of 5 years, after which any unutilized capacity would revert back to the city as being unused. And also, it would be at the developer's expense. Each of any units that they develop would still be subject to the sewer connection fee at such time that a building permit's pulled.
Okay.
And one last comment, which again I'll highlight in your meeting as well, but it's not assignable.
Yes.
It's specific to this developer.
What does that mean?
It means they can't assign it to another developer, meaning they obtain the right and then transfer it. It would have to be to an entity that is wholly owned by the Wingates.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions or comments? Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you, Ms. Newby. I think that gets us down to 11. And we do not need an executive session this evening, do we, Mr. Smith?
No, sir.
Okay, so we won't have that. So 11 through 17 are standard items. Are there any questions relative to our agenda this evening? Okay, thank you very much. I'll call your attention back to the pre-council. Item 5 are council member items. Dr. Faust? Mr. Jones?
No.
Dr. Albritton? No, Mr. Moody?
No, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, anything?
None for me.
Yes, sir. Reverend King? Okay. Mr. Smith, do you have anything you'd like to bring before us?
Yes, Mayor. I actually have a series of items I'd like to bring to you all
okay.
this evening. The first is just wanted to give out some city manager kudos to some entities here in the city and to some of our folks here in the city. I don't know how familiar y'all are with what occurred a couple of weeks ago. So we are obviously working with the Hasea Club and locating a playground out at the new Langston Road Park on Red Lagoon Drive, Magnolia Point Park. We get a call from them that they had raised all their funding and that the install crew with the equipment was going to be there the next week. So obviously we have to jump into action. The city has a level of commitment associated with that project. We obviously constructed a roadway, parking lot, and we are currently out to bid on a restroom structure. So we go out, we take a look at it, come to find out that it was not graded appropriately to receive an ADA accessible playground. It was supposed to be an 18,000 square foot thing, no more than 2-inch grade across. This presents a challenge. A significant amount of work needed to be done in order for that install crew to be there the next week to install the playground. Dwayne and Chad jumped into action on this. Y'all would have been amazed. Within the day and starting the very next morning, they had the developer of Kroger lined up to give us around 160 loads or some odd loads of dirt so that we could go in there and dump that in there and grade it out as part of the project. Our engineers, led by Chad, had put together a plan to ensure that that was graded out appropriately in accordance with the specs of the playground company. The county, Houston County, our friends at the county, jumped in, provided us with employees and dump trucks, and for 2 days straight they were hauling dirt from the Kroger site to Magnolia Point Park back and forth because we didn't have the capacity to do that. And then of course Mr. Shoemate, who come to find out has a background in grading, amazingly enough, had our streets crew out there for 2 days making sure that that thing was ready to go and level and everything, and they were able to pull that project together basically in a day and a half. It was really quite amazing to see all the coordination that they were able to put together to make that project happen. And we had some very stressed out ladies, as you might imagine, from the Hasea Club, because it's my understanding that if they weren't able to do the install or start the install that next week, it was going to be sometime in the winter that they would actually be able to come back. So obviously that would have been a very bad situation. So really just excellent work with Mr. Shoemate, excellent work with Chad, excellent work from the county, just them. All you had to do was ask, and they jumped in there, and they were working with us to get the project done. And then, of course, the private folks with the Kroger development. Just a really fantastic project, crisis averted. And we had, of course, a lovely ribbon-cutting ceremony, groundbreaking ceremony on the 14th that many of you were at, and that was very nice project. And glad that it's coming to fruition. Just wanted to let y'all know what happened, and again, give out some accolades on that. Yes. Second item, just before the meeting today, we were made aware that the state and the Environmental Protection Division at the state is looking at implementing some drought restrictions. You all know how dry it's been around here. Houston County is technically in what they call a severe drought situation, and we could anticipate sometime again very soon that the state was to come out with drought restrictions that we as a city would be required to adhere to. Right now, it's looking like it's basically just kind of level 1 restrictions, which is more public information. You know, we'll put out some stuff through our communications function about water conservation measures and things like that. Should it continue and we not get ample rain, it would go into level 2 restrictions, which is really kind of when, you know, we have some decisions to make. The city has a drought contingency plan that's in place that outlines everything that needs to be done for each level of restriction. If we were to get to level 2, stage 2, there would be mandatory outdoor water use restrictions, notice sent to all customers prohibiting the unnecessary use of water, and we would actually monitor that quite stringently. And if customers were to utilize water in a non-approved way, they could be locked out of water usage. Shut off of water and ornamental fountains, water use propriety sequence, so basically allocating out water to essential functions, and then industrial recycling of water, so gray water. We don't really have a function for that, but generally would be preferred or required in certain circumstances. So just letting y'all know, it's very dry in the state of Georgia. The state's taking it very seriously, and very soon could be coming back to you all with some restrictions to put into place. Are there any questions on that?
Yes, sir, if I may, Mayor. If you would, during the regular meeting, I would appreciate it if you recognized Mr. Shoemate and Mr. McMurray, and for the benefit of those who are not in the audience right now, just I would appreciate it if they could get the recognition that you just recognized them with.
Be happy to.
Thank you.
Okay.
Final thing, long time coming, and it has been a very interesting project. Over the past number of months, and this is following up on a discussion that we all had back in January about what sort of reports you all would like to receive, what sort of information you would like to receive about city operations. You have before you a draft iteration of the city's first quarterly operations report. Generally, what we're envisioning with this report is, again, quarterly, coming from the city manager's office, going to you all, and providing you all with information that may be pertinent to your role as an elected official, pertinent to decisions that you all may be considering on behalf of the city. And then, of course, when you get hit up by your constituents and publics, you have a good idea about kind of what's going on with the city, and maybe be able to answer some questions for them with this sort of information. Didn't want to inundate you. I know in the past there's basically been reams of reports that kind of went out to you all, and a lot of times it was really just tabular data with really not a whole lot of analysis and things like that. So trying to get away from that and give you all something that you all as elected officials might find a little bit more useful. This is, again, a draft. I've already found some things that need to be changed in it, and once it's finalized, it would get you a final copy, and these would actually be posted as well to the city's website. So just a heads up on that. Kind of taking you through it, if you will, bear with me. Each kind of major function within the city kind of has a section, primarily dealing with the forward-facing functions that the public may be interested in, and then, of course, some of the internal stuff that you all as elected officials might be interested in. On the first page, you have finance. So right now, where we are in the fiscal year, we're basically kind of in the home stretch, right? We're putting together the budget for next year. We're working to close out kind of this year's budget, looking at where we are with all of our major operating funds. And what you kind of expect to see right now is about 75%, revenues received, expenditures, that sort of thing. Obviously, that varies based on schedules and when we're paying for things and all of that. But some of the kind of major points here, if you look at the general fund, you can see the revenues collected and spent, 87%. We collect all of our property taxes by the end of calendar year 25, generally speaking. So you can expect to see the revenues, exceeding what you would generally see this kind of time of year. That's why that's at 87% revenues. Down looking at the water fund, basically right on track with that, both hovering right around 3/4 of the year's budget. Gas fund, obviously a bit of an anomaly looking at that. There are two major factors in that. The first is how cold it was this winter and how expensive gas got during that those cold snaps that we had, and then also the ongoing issue with gas prices and energy prices in general being very expensive. So you can see the revenues and expenditures there are exceeding what were originally budgeted because it's difficult to forecast for that sort of thing. Kind of cruising on through, each of the major functions will have possibly not, some notes with that. Just some things that the city might want to kind of celebrate, some of the information about what's going on in the various departments. For example, human resources, you can see some of our breakdown relative to hiring and that sort of stuff. A note on there, and we'll try and have these notes throughout. Ms. Lozano has joined the city. She filled Taya Chapman's role that was vacated, and she's a human resource technician specialist, and she came in with a whole lot of experience, worked in a very large local government in Florida. Very glad to have her. Looking over at customer service, you may be wondering what's going on with the new water customers number. I was too originally, then kind of got to the bottom of it. That's new water customers, not necessarily new connections, so it's not necessarily correlated with new home construction or anything. That could be all sorts of things from turnover and rental properties, just new people taking over accounts, that sort of thing. It's just new accounts, period. Going through the police department, had a good conversation with Alan today. The police department crime data stuff in here, the call data, is messed up. I really need to go back in there. Something got lost in translation between production of the table and I think production of the booklet. So we need to take another look at that. I can confirm for you some of the numbers. Crime-related calls, because what really got me looking at it, you look at crime-related calls, it says 12,000 something, right, for 25. And then you saw the 129, 200, 261 for the first 3 months. And I'm like, man, Chief's is doing an excellent job. There's a huge drop in crime-related calls. But it's actually, it's just an error. That's actually supposed to be 2,517. But he is doing a great job, of course, yes. And then non-crime calls is 40,631. And we'll, like I said, get some input from you all, finalize this stuff, and make sure everything's correct, and then publish it. Fire and emergency services, some interesting stuff here. If you look at really something I was interested in, and I know Fire was kind of scrambling on this one to put it together, but breaking the responses from Station 1 and Station 2. Because I sit there oftentimes and I'm thinking, well, where are folks responding from most of the time? And you can see here that 75% basically of our responses come from Station 1. That's a lot. That's a big kind of discrepancy there. Very interesting to see where a lot of our call volume is. And then education initiatives, that should read education and prevention initiatives. And that actually includes all the stuff from our prevention chief and our fire marshal's office. Looking at public works, something that kind of following up on the drought conversation, looking at water production. Just for your information, Woodlawn, you can see there, right now for 2026, we're averaging about 1.92 million gallons per day. We can actually produce and are permitted to produce 4 million gallons per day out there. So far so good, doing quite well. For Tucker Road, we're averaging 1.13 million gallons. We can actually produce 2 there. So a little bit tighter, but still doing well. And then the numbers from the water produced stuff needs to be revised. And then, of course, Frank Satterfield, you can see we're averaging 2.74. That's bumping right up against our permit. And that kind of shows, through data, why there was a need for the new wastewater treatment facility in East Perry. In community development, the connection fees, I thought that would be something interesting that you all might be interested in. And, of course, going back on our commitment to being transparent on those, you can see how much we've collected on each month and then totals for 2026. Doing quite well, actually exceeding projections, which is good. Leisure services. Something I found quite interesting here is with our Placer AI platform, we're able to see where people visit. and we have put geofences around all of our parks. I provided to you kind of our major parks, but you can see visitation data for those parks. And interestingly too, when you look at the data, the raw data doesn't take into account children. It's based on cell phones. So you could actually anticipate quite a bit more have actually visited those parks if you include the children. And then it wraps up with communications, and Tabitha and her folks do a good job collecting data on their various outreach efforts and things like that. So please take a look at this. Please get back to me any sort of input you might have. I think this will be a good thing for us moving forward. Good thing for you all as elected officials, but also a good thing for the public. And really, thanks to all the department heads on this. I know they're probably sick and tired of it. And it's actually taken a lot of, it's been challenging, and everyone's basically had to put together new data collection methodologies and points and all of that. But it's been very interesting, and we'll further hone in on making this the most worthwhile document we can. Thank you.
Anything else? You got anything else, Mr. Smith?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. Mr. Worthington?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Newby, do you have anything for us? Okay, thank you. Council members, is there anything that needs to come before us before we stand adjourned from our pre-council meeting? At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn pre-council to reconvene at 6 o'clock.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We are adjourned till 6 o'clock.